Hi, this is Fu Chao. The topic of this presentation is MiniApps chartering and the tag. The speakers are Angel Li from Alibaba, Yves Lafont from W3C, Yongjing Zhang from Huawei, Fuqiao Xue from W3C, and Mingzu from Baidu. Moving to slide 2. MiniApps is a successful means to deploy apps to the public, and it is possible to deploy MiniApps based on the web platform. My colleague, Angel Li from Alibaba, will introduce some background information on MiniApps.
Hello everyone, this is Angel Li from Alibaba, the co-chair of MiniApps Working Group. So first, please allow me to provide some simple background information. MiniApp is a new form of application, kind of a hybrid web and native apps. It leverages both the web technologies, especially CSS and JavaScript, as well as the capabilities of native applications. It runs within a user agent, such as native app, web browser, or even on the operating system. This new form of application was originated from China in early 2017. The beauty of MiniApp is that user does not need to install them. Very handy to use. Users can simply search for them by name or scan a QR code. Use them and no need to worry about update. It with user-friendly UI and rich functionalities, and it supports offline use. In China, as MiniApps become increasingly popular, it is transforming the user habits, business models, and the market in various ways. Both public sectors and private sectors embrace MiniApp products. For example, the retail, takeout services, medical and healthcare, e-government, online education, transportation, etc. And currently, there are about 20 MiniApp platforms, on which there are 7.5 million MiniApps, 850 million users in the globe, and the market and user population is still growing. In Asia, MiniApps start to get known in Japan and Korea. For example, Line released its MiniApp products in 2019. Because the MiniApp products in the markets of China, Japan, and Korea share lots of similarities, the MiniApp Working Group and Community Group organized a CGK MiniApp online forum in early April. In the globe, MiniApp-like products emerge in some platforms as well, for example, like some app stores. All this brings us a question. Will the walled garden happen again among MiniApp ecosystems? We certainly hope not. And that's why we have been working with W3C community to move forward on MiniApp standards, and it took quite some efforts. In early 2019, AB discussed the MiniApps in the next big thing topic. And then in May 2019, there was a workshop organized in Beijing to discuss the possibility to standardize MiniApps. And then in the AC meeting in 2019 in Quebec, we discussed this topic with the entire AC reps. And later, lots of things happened in September. We released a MiniApp standardization white paper. We had a TPAG breakout session. And then we finally launched the MiniApp Community Group. After 1 year, in July 2020, we had a MiniApp online workshop and had a good discussion with the tag about how to build a win-win solution for both MiniApp and the web. In December 2020, we had AC vote for proposed MiniApp Working Group charter. And finally, we launched the MiniApps Working Group in January this year, with the goal to harmonize the heterogeneous MiniApp ecosystems, enable interoperability among the different MiniApp platforms, maximizing the convergence of MiniApps and the web, And to make the life easier for the developers, we would like to reduce the development cost and facilitate adoption of this technology. And Yongjin, the other co-chair of the MiniApp Working Group, will share more details information about the incubation and the deliverables of this working group.
Hello everyone, this is Yongjin Zhang from Huawei. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through the work we have done in the community group. On slide 3, it shows the whole picture of the deliverables that we have incubated so far, which covers the stages from requesting to download the MiniApp package and to loading and running the package by a user agent. Let me explain shortly one by one. The MiniApp URI scheme is to define the syntax of the URI for identifying, downloading, and loading a MiniApp package. It should also be able to address and launch a particular page within the MiniApp package. And the packaging spec defines the standardized packaging construction method and the file structure to be processed by a runtime environment of the MiniApp. This includes the manifesto file that is further specified in the manifesto spec and other page or application level resources. The widget requirements spec considers additional requirements for the widget design. A widget is a specialized type of MiniApp page. The Lifecycle spec defines the lifecycle events, APIs, and process to be executed by the MiniApp user agent. As you can see in the table below, packaging, manifest, and lifecycle specs have been transferred as normative deliverables in the working group, while the rest are maintained as just working group nodes. Some of them have gone through early tech review during the incubation phase, and we have received very valuable comments. So after extensive discussion with the tech and other relevant working groups, the CG has made a lot of refinements on those specs. In the next few slides, I will demonstrate latest status of those specs, including the changes we have made according to the received comments and also the work plan in the near future. On slide 4, this slide covers both the work in the MiniApp packaging and the manifest specs. A MiniApp package is generally a zip-based file that contains all necessary resources to construct a MiniApp. As you can see in the example on the left-hand side, a typical MiniApp package contains the application-level resources, such as the manifest file, the JavaScripts, and the page-level resources, the common resources such as UI components and its configurations, as well as the localization resources. All those resources can be organized in different folders. The manifest itself is a JSON-based file. It enables developers to describe and configure a MiniApp. It is now designed as an extension of the web app manifest to achieve the best compatibility with the web platform. This is the change we have made according to the discussion with the web app working group and the tech. MiniApp manifest actually inherits most of the basic metadata members from web app manifest, while it proposes a few extended members for MiniApp specific purpose, such as the version control, page routing, window styling, and permission control. It still needs further improvements, such as aligning the naming of the convention with W3C principle and multi-language support, etc. As for the rest of the package, more efforts would be spent on the missing features in detail, such as the page layout template, the UI component, digital signature, and more device-level APIs for the IoT or TV use cases. We will keep exchanging with the web packaging, publishing, and publishing working groups for possible harmonization on the archiving format of the package. The current lifecycle spec is shown on slide 5. It provides a set of APIs for both global application level events and the page level events. Implementing this specification enables the user agent to manage the lifecycle of a MiniApp from application initialization to page loading, page hiding, and unloading. This work was developed in the spirit of the best aligning with existing W3C work, like the service work and page visibility. The MiniApp Working Group will further define the details about, for example, the first rendering process and the APIs in terms of web IDL. Lastly, let's look at the MiniApp addressing aspect. In the early phase, when we designed the MiniApp URI, it was proposed as a new scheme starting with MiniApp, as you can find on the left-hand side of the slide. It was a convergent solution of the common practice among existing MiniApp ecosystems, such as the quick app implementations, mini programming implementations in China. However, after several rounds of discussion with the tag experts, we decided to move to a HTTP-based scheme and use deep linking-alike technologies. So the reason is to better align with the web platform and to avoid potential drawbacks of introducing a new scheme which has been studied and identified by other groups earlier. So therefore, the spec would need a drastic rework along the listed items here, such as the syntax of the URI components, dereferencing algorithm, and security concerns.
Hi, I'm Yves from W3C and wearing my tag hat today. So the tag was asked by the CG to review several documents. In 2019, the tag already did a statement about MiniApp when the work was presented during the Fukuoka TPAC. One of the major items was to ensure that there was only one web, which is one of the main points of the ethical web principle that the tag is working on. So the tag reviewed the MiniApp manifest and noted that there should be only one manifest, the web app manifest. So they asked the CG to coordinate to be sure that their requirement will be folded in the web app manifest. Then reviewed the MiniApp lifecycles and noted that there were overlap with the page lifecycle document in YCG and other attempt in the around PWA lifecycle. So coordination there and giving all the input and all the experience of the MiniApp CG there would be very important. The MiniApp URL scheme, which is the most contentious, there was an attempt in the past to do the same thing in widget, which was defined at W3C, and it failed as well. So the tag strongly said that moving to HTTPS and worked on technical solution to use deep linking solutions, or depending on what are the needs of the MiniApp, to do things using HTTPS as much as possible. And then the tag reviewed informally, because it was not a CG request, MiniApp packaging, and noted there that there should be also coordination, and because work is going on in W3C around that. But in that case, it's more driven by the solution that would be taken for example, for addressing, to ensure that the right solution is taken there. After that, the team built on the tag's feedback by, for example, in that case of your scheme providing a different technical, not solution, but direction to go and figure out for the different use cases what could be a possible solution, like with app links or universal links, URL templating, secure exchanges. So there are many possible solutions in that space, depending on the real use case. So That's why it's now labeled as MiniApp addressing. And I let Fuqiao talk about the other parts.
Hi, this is Fuqiao again. As you've said, the tag reviewed the proposals incubated in the MiniApps Community Group. After that, the community group and the W3C team had a lot of discussions, and the CG did the following things. For the URI scheme proposal, the MiniApps CG decided to follow the tag's advice and change the proposal into an HTTPS-based solution, and will rename the specification to MiniApp addressing. For Lifecycle, the MiniApps Working Group plans to provide a mapping to existing web specifications, such as service workers and page visibility, whenever possible. It is also mentioned in the Working Group Charter. For Manifest, the MiniApps Community Group reworked MiniApp Manifest as an extension of the Web App Manifest. The MiniApps Working Group is also considering following the tag guideline for naming JSON keys. For packaging, the community group will continue to follow the development of related packaging technologies, like web packaging, the EPUB open container format, the lightweight packaging format LPF, and the new resource bundle proposal in the Web Platform Incubator community group. The working group will collaborate with related groups and leverage existing web standards when possible. Okay, so my colleague Minzu from Baidu will conclude this presentation.
Moving to the last slide. MiniApp standardization explores the interoperability between the web and the new forms of applications. It is a global effort. We incubate the new ideas in MiniApp Ecosystem Community Group and standardize them in MiniApp Working Group. Welcome more people with the same goals to join us.